Colonialism is a form of domination where one social group or nation imposes control over another, often through conquest, settlement, or political and cultural dominance. Historically, powerful nations extended their rule over distant territories, using state power to maintain authority. The primary goal of colonialism was to establish political control, followed by economic exploitation. Modern European colonialism expanded with the ability to transport large populations across ocean and maintain control over vast, dispersed territories. This involved violent conquest and settlement, particularly in the Americas, Africa, Asia, and Australia.
British colonization had a strong impact on Malaysian society, especially in terms of race and education. The British used divide and rule policy that separated Malays, Chinese, and Indians by race and economic rules. They also introduced a segregated education system, which still exists today. Each ethnic group had its own type of school, known as vernacular schools, to preserve their language and culture. For the Malays, schools were mostly rural and focused on Islamic studies. These schools helped preserve the Malay language and led to Bahasa Malaysia becoming the national language. Next is Chinese vernacular schools, which followed China's curriculum and were funded by the Chinese community. They play a big role in keeping Chinese culture alive in Malaysia. Tamil schools for Indians began in the 80s and followed the Indian system. Although they still face funding and enrollment issues, they help preserve Indian culture in Malaysia. Lastly is the English school. They were attended by the British, local elites and wealthy Chinese and also Indians. Its main purpose was to train locals to become lower level officers to serve British needs. After independence, the Malaysian government tried to unite the races through education reforms. Interbinus Report 1951 proposed Malay and English as teaching languages, but faced strong opposition from Chinese and Indian communities. Inter-Razak Report 1956 formed the basis for the Education Ordinance 1957, promoting national unity while still allowing vernacular schools. The Rahman Talib Report later improved these policies, leading to the Education Act 1961. Today, these vernacular schools reflect Malaysia's multicultural society. While they preserve cultural identity, they also show how colonial history continues to shape education and national unity in Malaysia.
So next, I will move to the narrative of the impacts of the colonialism in Malaysia. British colonialism left a deep impact on Malaysia's economy and society. From the late of 19th century until 1957, the British focused on making Malaya a top exporter of tin and rubber. These were valuable resources and most of the profits were sent back to Britain, which meant they very little of the wealth stayed in Malaya. This has caused minimal investment in the local industry and education. The British also changed the labor system by bringing in large number of Chinese and Indian workers to work in the tin mines and rubber plantations. Malays mostly stayed in rural areas, working in traditional agriculture. This created a divided economy where each ethnic group was placed into specific roles. Over time, this led to the unequal wealth and opportunities, which caused a socio-economic divisions between the different communities. So, by the time Malaysia gained the independence in 1957, these inequalities were already deeply rooted in the society. The racial riots of the 1969 show just how serious the tension had become. In response to these events, the Malaysian government introduced the New Economic Policy, or also known as NEP, in 1971. The NEP was a plan to reduce poverty across all the races and restructure the economy to create fairer opportunities for everyone. In short, British colonial policies created an uneven economic and ethnic divisions that took a decade to address. Even today, the NEP and its goals still shape Malaysia's society and economy.
Next, the impact of colonialism is the introduction of the British resident system. Before colonization, Malaya consists of various Malay states that ruled by sultan and local rulers. On July 1, 1896, the four Malay states, Perak, Selangor, Pahang and Negeri Sembilan was centralised under Resident General at Kuala Lumpur, whereas the five peninsula states which is Kedah, Perlis, Terengganu, Kelantan and Johor are known as Unfederated Malay State (UMS) were under British protectorate in the half of the 20th century. UMS only accepted British advisor, but Sultan retained decision-making power in aspect of religion, custom and governance. During World War II, Japan occupied Malaya from 1941 to 1945, disrupting British rule. After the war, the British proposed the Malayan Union in 1946, but strong opposition from Malays led to the founding of UMNO by Dato' Un Jaafar. The Malaya Union was eventually replaced by the Federation of Malaya, restoring the power of the Malay rulers and laying the groundwork of independence. Finally, on 31 August 1957, the Federation of Malaya gained full independence, embracing key principles like constitutional monarchy, parliamentary democracy, freedom of speech, Islam as the official religion, and Bahasa Melayu as the national language.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will be presenting about the last impacts of colonialism, which is the multiracial country. Malaysia was a multiracial country that was shaped due to the colonial past. The original inhabitants of Malaysia was the Malays, which governed by a sultan under Islamic and customary laws. And for your information, Malaysia has been colonized by 3 different countries, which is the Portuguese, the Dutch and the British. Under the British rule, they has introduced the Malayan Union and the jus soli citizenship, which has threatened the Malay special position. Apart from those two, the British also introduced the divide and rule policy, which separate the Malays, Indians and Chinese by jobs and regions. And this action has weakened the national unity of the Malaysia people itself. To restore balance, the Reid Commission has drafted a constitution in 1957, leading to the creation of Article 153, which protects the Malay privilege, especially in religion, language and customs. However, in 13 May 1969, a racial tension has erupted and exposed a deep economic disparities, which led to the creation of the new economic policy in 1970, which focusing on reducing the inequality and also promoting national unity. The concept of Bumiputra was also introduced to recognize the indigenous people of the Malaysia. Today, Malaysia has continued to embrace unity in diversity while also maintaining their unique cultural identity. That's all from me. Thank you.
In conclusion, colonialism continues to shape global realities, often leaving behind deep social, political and cultural scars, divisions along ethnic lines, suppression of native identities and exploitation of resources created long-lasting inequalities. In many post-colonial nations, including Malaysia, these legacies still affect politics, education and wealth distribution. British colonialism in Malaysia promoted intellectual control and introduced secular policies that deepen social divides. While the country has made progress in independence in 1957, race-based politics and structural inequalities remains. Understanding this colonial past is key to addressing present challenges and building a more inclusive and equitable future.